Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the series on the 95 E300. Today we're just going to do 3 items. These are the final 3 items I'd like to do on the car. We're going to do the shifter bushing, the kickdown switch underneath the accelerator pedal, and the fuel shutoff valve or fuel shutoff screw. I'll show you what that is. So first thing we want to do is go under here, and I want to show you guys right back here. See that bushing right there? See, it's not supposed to rattle around like that. And I noticed on the drive across country there was a little bit of rattle in my shifter handle, and that's a sign that you need to do this shifter bushing. And guys, these are very easy to do. We actually just have to take off that clip there, pop it out, push on a new bushing, pop it back in. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay guys, here is a special tool to push in the shifter bushing. I ordered this from Kent out at Mercedes Source, I don't know, 10 years ago. And man, it is so handy. It looks like he just cut off like a bolt and welded it on there and then welded a loop on here. But this works really well. And here is the shifter bushing. And what you do, you just put it over here, and then you can reach up. Try to do this one-handed here. Then you can reach up in the car and put it in the hole it's supposed to go in. You squeeze, and it will push that bushing in there. So I'll do that in a second. First, I need to go under there and get the clip out and get out the old bushing. Okay, before I replace that bushing, I wanted to show you guys. So see that? See how it kind of is not, it's not very firm in there. And see, like, for example, if I'm in drive, I can kind of wiggle it a little bit. That's why you replace the shifter bushing. I'll show you, and you want to have it like in drive when you change it. Actually, we'll move it down to third there so it moves that lever forward. Excuse the buzzing, guys. There we go. And that's going to make it easier because that lever will now be straight down. So let's go into the car, change it, and then I'll show you how that moves around afterwards. All right, this is pretty impossible to record and do it one-handed, but this clip, so you can just pry it up a little bit, and actually need 2 hands because once I pry it up, I got to push it back. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Yep, there we go. And then I'm just going to push it back. There we go. And it snapped onto my finger. That feels nice. Okay, by putting the shifter down in like 3rd gear, you can see how it's moved this lever straight down. So that'll make it easier for me to get the tool up here. But now I can just pull this shift linkage right down here. There we go. And we can pull off that old bushing. And we're going to put our new bushing in there. So let's go over here. Yeah, see our old rotten bushing here. Yeah, it's just kind of dried out and deteriorated. All right, let's go ahead and push the new one in there. And guys, these are a very extremely hard nylon type material. I'm pretty sure it's nylon. That's what it feels like. So I always put a little grease on it to help push it in there. Now, this is definitely a 2-handed job, but I'm just going to show you guys the general idea. So we got to come up here. There we go. And we take our tool and we got to get our bushing. There we go. Sorry about the camera work. Got to get our bushing right there. Now you can squeeze the tool, and this is where you need 2 hands. See, I can't squeeze it hard enough to get it to go in there, but let me go ahead and do that off camera. Okay guys, there we have our nice new shifter bushing in there. Now the next thing I need to do, see if I can hold the camera here and do this. I'm going to slide our shift rod back up here. There we go, new shifter bushing. Now see, that's not jiggling around anymore. Let me go show you the effect that has on our shifter inside the car. Okay guys, here we are back in the car, and remember how loose that was? Look at it now. See how firm it is and how it snaps into position? See, it's not jiggling around like it was. That's why you change your shifter bushings. All right, guys, I'm back up here in the engine compartment. I was just doing final inspections before I wrap this car up. Also, next, I'm installing that kickdown switch. But I was checking everything out, and right here I noticed, look at that, it's a little wet right there. I don't know, I mean, you can barely see it. Yeah, you can see a little fuel came down, and a little fuel has got right there. And what that is, if we pull out this pin, that is a pin that keeps you from tightening this cap all the way down. But if we pull out that pin, that's a safety pin, so you cannot tighten it all the way down. This is the fuel shutoff. If you screw it all the way in, it actually kills the fuel flow and kills the engine. If it's screwed all the way out, you have full fuel flow. So that's the fuel shutoff valve. Now, I noticed this one was leaking, and it's because there's little O-rings in there. And that's, of course, that's the original one. So I ran over to the Mercedes dealer. Here's how they work. You can see here's another one right here in these caps. And see that little hole on the side right there? That's where the safety pin actually goes through to keep you from screwing it down and shutting off your engine. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take this out and replace it with a brand new one. That way we don't have any of that fuel leaking right there. Okay, so to remove this one, I've removed the pin. I'm going to go ahead and just screw it all the way down so that, in essence, shuts off the fuel. If we tried to crank the car, it would run for like, I don't know, 10 seconds or so, and then the car would die. And then you put a 19 millimeter over there, and we can unscrew that. All right, I'm going to set my replacement, genuine Mercedes, right there. You can see there's two O-rings right there, and I'll show you on the new one. There's also an O-ring and like a needle valve that runs down through here. I'll show you that. But we're going to make a little bit of a mess here because we're going into the fuel system. But you put a 19 millimeter on there. We're just going to screw this guy out of here. All right, now the fuel filter is going to come loose when I do this, so I'm just going to hold it with my hand. We're quickly going to put in our replacement. There. And okay, there we go. See our O-rings, and what's wrong with this one? I probably could have gotten away with replacing the O-rings. I didn't feel like looking up the part numbers for the O-rings, so I just ordered an entire new assembly. So I'll set that over here. And we're going to put our brand new one in there. Okay, we've got our new one screwed in there. And I'm going to close down our valve. There we go. And we'll tighten it back up. All right. Now, let's open back up our valve. Okay, I also want to show you, here's our old one right here. And if I unscrew this one down in here, there we go. You also have an O-ring right there. And those O-rings will wear out and it can leak up through the top. So there's 3 O-rings on these little guys. So I'll save this one. There's nothing wrong with it other than it needs some new O-rings. So I'll just put this back on the shelf and replace the O-rings. We'll use it at a later date. Okay, this one, it actually has a roll pin right there. See the roll pin in there? And I'm guessing for some reason they took the roll pin out of this one at some point in the history of the car. And that's why they had that little clip in there. But we don't need to put that clip in this other one. There you go. There's that clip they had in there because I guess some point someone had taken out the roll pin because they wanted to change that seal. Anyway, don't need that on this car. Okay, I have got everything bone dry, blew it off with compressed air and dried it with a towel everywhere. So there's not a drop of diesel anywhere there. And I want to go ahead and fire it up and make sure that resolved the issue. We're just watching here. Sorry for the noise in the camera. I'm right here by the engine. And we can see there is not a drop of diesel leaking out of there now. So that definitely resolved that small leak we had right there. All right, guys, we got in our kickdown switch directly from Mercedes. There's the part number. And I wonder who actually manufactures it, because Mercedes, doesn't make parts. They just have OEM suppliers. I bet you a company like VDO or someone makes it. I don't see anything on here. I do see the Mercedes part number. But anyway, let's go get this installed on the car. You can see that's how it works. And that's where your accelerator hits right there, kicks your transmission down, and we just plug it in right there. All right. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this with one hand, but it only goes in one way, and the plug faces up in that direction. So let me go ahead and install this in the retainer right there, and I'll be back in a second. Easy as that. We have our plug back in and our kickdown switch. Let me demonstrate. See how we click it? And that will drop the transmission down a gear. Okay, let me just reinstall the floor mats here. Okay, and these floor mats in these cars are molded. And there you go. See, they're molded to go right over that, so there's no interference with your pedal. All right, let me get the rubber mat back in here. Okay, I just wiped my footprints off of there and cleaned it up a little bit. Got the molded floor mat, rubber floor mat back in there. There we go, guys. We are done with the E300. Hope you guys enjoyed this video series. I don't need to do a test drive video because you literally saw me drive it, I think 2,700 miles across the country. So I will do a walk around video this weekend. Stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time.